Welcome to CaFae Convos. I am your host, C. Melangi. The C stands for Chris or Christina. I don't care. Use whichever one you want. And today I am joined by a book lover named Laura, whose YouTube name is, of course, Book Lover Laura. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Laura. I am very excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I have a channel where I pretty much just talk about goings on in the book world. I talk about a lot of things that controversies, drama, that sort of thing, and I try to do it in a fair way and also add my own little snark to it.
While doing actual research instead of just jumping straight into only reading the headlines type of BS. You tend to
I
go
do my
pretty deep
best.
into it. Yeah, I
I
know
try.
you've had a very busy year with it.
I have. I kind of made one video. I've been on YouTube for 3 years now, and it hasn't been until the last probably 8 months that I've really kind of seen any sort of. I mean, I did it for the fun of it, It wasn't
Mhm.
like I had a big goal of trying to like blow up or anything, um but I really was just doing the normal kind of booktube type things with what did I read this month and what am I going to read next month and reviews and all of that. And then in like last November, I did a video where I just found a whole bunch of um, TikToks that were talking about book stuff and like kind of showed them and then gave my opinion. And that was like the first one that really kind of made me be like, oh my God, wait, people like me. This is crazy. And then I'm still doing those, but back in like April, there was a big book fest, A Million Lives.
Oh
Everyone,
God, that got you started on this?
pretty much.
A million.
I
Well, glad something good came out of a million
No
lives.
kidding. Yeah. I mean, I made a video and it kind of, ended up getting a lot of traction. And then I started getting like tagged in stuff on like Instagram and threads that was like other people like talking about drama, controversy, stuff like that in the book world. And so I found the Britt Andrews situation that a
Oh
lot of
God,
people
yeah.
have heard of now. And so I kind of got into that one, spoke with a couple of the people that were affected, and then that just kind of continued because there was just a lot to cover. And so from there, I've really started to kind of change the direction that my channel is going, and it's really fun. I really enjoy the research and putting it all together and seeing other people's opinions on it, and it's been something that I've really enjoyed.
It's almost like investigative journalism, but like just for book drama, which you wouldn't
Right.
expect that like the community of bookworms would have so much drama. Like,
And there's so much. I
right?
know.
Like, it's like every other week something else is going on, and it's like, what? What? Well, I just wanted to write and sell little books
Right?
and read books. How did we become the drama queens of the internet? We spent all of our middle school and high school years avoiding it.
Truly, when I am like it wasn't until I feel like I started on looking at like threads. I really never got into book talk, but it does provide me with a lot of interesting things to talk about. I really only was doing like Bookstagram, and there's like not really drama over there because I
It's
don't
all
know
about
why.
the aesthetic and like
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
bookshelves and whatnot.
exactly. And so once I got on Threads, which I didn't even do on purpose, it's like on Instagram, you know how sometimes it'll like show you a post on Threads. I don't know if you have Threads downloaded,
I
but
don't have threads at all. I see it pop up occasionally when I'm
don't
scrolling
do
through
it.
like my friend's
Don't
Facebook.
do it. Um, and so I like they show them up on Instagram and I'll click on it and then suddenly it'll be 20 minutes later and I find myself scrolling Threads and I'm like, how did I get here? But so that's kind of like the first time I really saw stuff over there. And honestly, it's a lot of drama, but a lot of I think more well-spoken people than like on TikTok. I feel like there's just
Like,
nonsense.
because I am on TikTok and like I guess it depends largely on who you're following and what the algorithm is feeding you. because I remember when the whole, when the mini scandal, I guess you could say, of people coming out, especially, you know, big established reviewers were saying how, like, I only read the smut scenes.
Mhm.
There are too many words on the page, type of thing.
Yeah.
That type of thing was just like, how do you, why do you can't consider yourself a bookworm if you're skipping
Half the
half
book,
the
yeah.
book, and it's just like that type of thing. But I actually never saw those actual videos on TikTok. I first heard of the situation when all of the people that I was following and with the algorithm did know that I liked, they were, I got their responses and all this stuff, and especially with the most recent election, people being all just like, oh, here are some books that are totally not political. Here's the Hunger Games. It's just, a bunch of kids, having a fight in an arena, nothing political about that at all.
Right.
Apple, it's just about the college experience.
Right, right.
Super satirical type of thing. And I'm just like, why are we talking about this? And then going in the comments, going like, oh, okay, someone was an idiot, and this is the response to that.
Yes.
So I obviously I'm not on Threads, but I do got to push back a little bit because there are a lot of eloquent, intellectual, bookworms on TikTok that, like, they do push back and they are right. They just don't have the major followings that a lot of these others
Yeah,
do.
and I think that I spend too much time looking at TikTok for specific like things for videos because I really do think that TikTok's algorithm is like the best of all of the social media, but
It is.
because I spend so much time looking at things that like I wouldn't actually be looking at in real life, I get fed those and then I'm like TikTok sucks because
Would you need two separate
I
accounts where,
really
like, you have
do.
the
I
one
really
for,
do.
like, the trash that you have to do for your
Yeah.
job, and then the personal account?
Yeah, I really do need to do that because that is I people have said that too. Anytime I've been like, I just can't get into TikTok. Like I don't read smutty books. I don't read fantasy books. And I feel like those are two really big things people talk about. And they're like, you
Mhm.
just have the wrong stuff coming up. And so yeah, I should make
Yeah.
another one um because when I do come across some like well spoken I don't know, people that read similar stuff to that I do. I follow them, but then I guess the smut, the drama just kind of takes
Consumes.
over because I just watch more of it for the stuff I talk about.
Yeah, no, it's a trip, but you should be on TikTok because then you get to follow me.
Yeah.
You
Oh
get
my
to see
gosh,
my stuff.
I was watching your videos today and they are just so funny.
Thank you. I do try. I am not. Say I'm a writer first and an actor fifth and a comedian 20th. But I'm just sarcastic by nature, and that tends to leak into everything I create.
Oh my gosh. I was like cracking up. Had I had one of your like compilations on when I was just like walking, doing errands, and it was just like my phone was in my bag and I was like giggling while I was walking. Just some of that stuff is so funny. And like, you know, I don't read like fae books, but I was just like,
Mm.
you don't need to know
Would
much
you
about
believe,
that kind of thing.
would you
And
believe that I don't read Fae books either?
really?
No, no, I don't. Like, I think the last one I read was like outside of, research into old fairy lore
Mhm.
for Cafe Latte and Heart of Iron stuff. Um, I think it was Sarah J. Maas was like the last step that explicitly had Fae in it, and that's
Yeah.
not even like real Fae mythos. That's
Right. That's
fantasy Fae.
yeah.
Yeah, that I think that was the last one that I read because I typically, for pleasure, I tend to have a mix of harder fantasy, sci-fi, and a lot of history and biographies and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
it's definitely
yeah.
accessible for everyone.
Thank you. No, I'm much more like I knew a lot more about Greek mythology than I did about fairy lore before I started Cafe Latte. Because I was a Percy Jackson geek and I still am.
Gotcha.
So But it's once I started on the rabbit hole and I realized, oh, this is a thing that like people want me to keep. It's not just a thing that can last me for a week and I have to go on and move on to something else. Like, no, people still want to actively engage in this. Okay, let's do a deep dive. Let's go back to the old school Fae lore
Hmm.
and see what I can come up with rather than just reverting to, you know, they're just elves with like,
Right.
token elves with wings or whatever. And it's like you realize that a lot of the stuff when you go back to the original lore, it's like the whole fairies can't lie thing, for instance, that has never been explicitly stated until like the 20th century.
Hmm.
I couldn't find anything in like the earliest, the baby in anthropology's baby days when they were collecting all the stories explicitly from Ireland and Scotland and Wales and putting it all together. There was nothing that explicitly stated they cannot lie.
Huh.
Um, yeah, I know it's weird. So it's like, but granted, they never do lie. They
Hmm.
always tell the truth, and they tended to be confused and mixed up a lot with demons and devils, who also explicitly were like, they can't lie, the devil's in the details, all that stuff. So I think it kind of came from that, and then it was explicitly stated in like the 20th century, very late.
Hmm.
And now it's just kind of become an internet. So it's really hard to tell like what is actual thing and what is, just the internet
For
picking up
sure.
subcontext. Like the allergy to iron is accurate. Although it used to be like against like using horseshoes against them or something like that, or chucking iron at a changeling will make it go away was fairly late in the game, but still pops up in like the 1800s. So
Interesting.
it was a trip doing all that research and
For sure.
compiling. Okay, what's like the actual Fey rules, and of course, it doesn't help that the lore has existed for so long and across all of Europe that everyone
Hmm.
has different rules of what they
Yes.
look like and how to treat them and how to handle them and all that jazz. So
Hmm.
which as an author is great because then you get to pick and choose
Yeah.
which ones work. Yeah. So yeah, so I have some pre-prepared questions,
Okay.
obviously. We talked about how you exclusively went from book review related content to book news content, and I can't believe it was a million lives. Um, I do have the next one I have is what is, you've been doing this for 8 months now, which in book community drama time is like 80 years. What is the most interesting or craziest scandal that like you have ever covered?
Okay, so I've had like 6 videos on this too, but something that I just continue to be fascinated with is Christina K. She's like an author coach, but she's like a whole
Oh, the
scammer,
scammer.
and she's like really delusional about what she does and how people see her. And like if you tell her like you're not interested, perfectly politely, she will like berates you. And I feel like just as a human, I'm just fascinated by how she exists. Um, and it's like 1 minute she's telling you that like you have to help her because she's going to get evicted, and then the next minute she's like, I don't know if I have room for you in my schedule. And so it's just I just am fascinated by her. I don't know if that's necessarily like a scandal, but i i keep I keep having people email me their like stories of experiences with her every time I post a new video. I'm just like, where does it end? I mean, so many
Oh, why is she
people.
still using her name at this point? Because like
Yeah, I
it
mean,
it seemed
she's operated under, I think, like 3 different names that I could find, but this is the first time, she's actually put her her name. I think that K must be her middle name because I do like I've I've seen stuff with her last name and all of that, but like
mhm.
I just can't. I don't know. This woman, she I don't even know what to say. She just fascinates me to no end. So, not
That,
exactly a scandal, but man.
but definitely something that caught your interest. What? Because you on your channel you cover quite a few scam artists too. Are there others that have popped up, or like especially if you have like newbie authors who are looking for a coach or a good editor or agent, like what are some ways that they can make sure that the person that they're talking to is legit and not someone who's going to disappear as soon as they cash the check?
I think at this point, there is just so much out there on the internet and so much from, I think, hopefully if a new writer is like in a writing group, they could, ask about, hey, do you know who this person is? Do you think this is a good editor? Ask for recommendations, you know, searching for them. And a lot of, these like author coaches have testimonials on their websites. And reach out to those authors that are on their website and be like, "Hi, I'm thinking of working with this editor or coach. I just wanted to know a little bit about your experience, if you wouldn't mind sharing, because I know that Christina K has some author testimonials on her website that the people that are tied to those quotes have not that to say."
Mm.
She's either twisted their words, or I don't wanna say made them up because I don't know that for sure, or they've written something and then
They're very
something.
misleading.
Yes, yes, and there's a couple that, like, have been asking her to please take this down for ages, and she just won't. And so
Mhm.
I just think that that is kind of a way that you could find it. I mean, if someone might not give you an answer, but generally, if someone has a bad experience, they won't talk about it.
Yeah, and they'll explicitly be like, "Don't, for the love of God, don't go
Yeah,
over there and
exactly.
do that." Um, yeah, no, that's I mean, I'm lucky enough in that I have never necessarily needed a writing coach. I mean, I grew up with 2 authors in my family, um, and then just did a bunch of like, I took classes in high school and college, and then I've mostly just been, pulling nuggets of information from YouTube itself, as well as, I'm constantly recommending books that help with the writing process, like Stephen King's on writing, Save the Cat Writes a Novel, The Writer's Journey by Christopher Vogel, stuff like that. Um, so I've never really felt the need for a personal mentor or coach, but I know that that's not the same for a lot of others, especially those
You
just
know,
starting out.
I'm not an author, so I won't like pretend to know what works for people, but I've heard from multiple people that an author coach is really not something that is necessary. That you can, like you said, get a lot of that same information from YouTube, from writer groups, from other places. I mean, if you already have a story and like, I don't know, basics down, which I mean, I would think most authors are also readers. So, you
Yeah,
or they should be at least. So
yeah,
you'd know some of this kind of stuff, and that an author coach is not really going to do you much good. You just need to go to an editor, and they will
yeah,
they will help you. And so, I just I don't know. Personally, I think I've come to the conclusion that I would. No one's ever asked me because why would they? But I would never
mm,
recommend like an author coach. If someone did, I would recommend they go ask their author groups what they think,
mm.
and just find a really good editor and spend your money on that.
Yeah, honestly, and although I will mention that you don't need to hire an editor unless you are self-publishing.
Oh yeah,
If
I
you're if
sorry,
you're
and
traditionally, yeah, yeah, I because like not a lot of people know how the publishing process works. So like I just, if you're traditionally publishing, that is, you're going through a publishing house, they will provide the
yeah.
editors for you. That's why you get a lower cut of the royalties
Hmm.
because they are paying for the editor and the cover artist and everything else. But if you are self-publishing, that is, you're doing it all yourself, then yes, you should absolutely hire a freelance editor. And yes, they are expensive. Do not use ChatGPT or whatever AI
Yeah.
BS is out there, because it's not going to do what an actual human can do. We can all tell when a book has not been edited. So,
Yeah, and it's more, I feel like at this point than just like, oh, your book is poorly edited because you used ChatGPT. If people find out that you used any sort of AI for your
mhm.
book, like there's no mercy right now. Like you
Yeah, even
are.
like suspected, like, because like I have gotten, I don't know if you've seen the cover of this. For those of you listening, you can't see it, although I'll probably have it on the screen as part of a slideshow. But like obviously I'm promoting my book Heart of Iron, and I've already had a couple of people in my comments being like, that looks like an AI generated cover. And I'm like, no, I hired a human person to do this. I saw his earlier drafts. I gave him the reference photos, like this is me,
Mhm.
basically. And I just told him make the skin purple and the pointy ear and add jewelry. So it's we're all on such a hair trigger. And I would prefer that we be more vigilant than less vigilant. Um, but at the same time it is kind of heartbreaking to just see how we have no trust at all
Mhm.
anywhere with this, and which sucks, and but it makes sense because it's so everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, and I feel like I'm so hesitant to ever mention anything. Like anytime I talk about books that could potentially have AI elements, I'm I'm so careful to just be like, I am not accusing this person. I have just from other people's experience, they feel that
Mhm.
this is different from previous writing by this author, yada yada. Because I mean, it can, and it has. I feel like already started to just ruin authors' careers, and whether or not that's like valid because they did use it or if they didn't. I mean, the only ones that I'm feel confident in being like you used AI is when they like leave the prompts in.
They leave the
And
prompt in, which
that's
we've
when I'm
already had
like,
a couple of scandals with that.
yeah, but other than that, I'm just like I like kind of give people the benefit of the doubt because I
Mhm.
know that one, misguided tweet about, or not tweet, but we don't use that anymore.
One
But you know what I mean?
accusation can snowball, especially if
Yes,
that person who's doing it has a platform of thousands or tens of thousands of people like you
exactly.
and I do. So yeah, I get that. And it's like as an author, I do change my voice depending on the book. Like the way that Heart of Iron is written is very different from how my debut novel Citadel is written. In part because I've had more years of experience,
Right.
but also because like the world of Citadel and the characters and how they talk and interact with the world and the story itself is different. It has a slightly different tone of voice than Jennifer Charles in the 21st century that happens to have fairies and magic and dragons and stuff.
Hmm.
They're different, so I have to tell the story differently.
Right.
um, I do like to think that there is enough of like me in all of my work that people can tell, like, yes, this was written by a real person and the same person. She's not like there was this one scandal a while ago where it was this author was just rewriting other people's fan fictions. Um, and yeah, and
I
I
think I saw
forget her name, but she was straight up copy and pasting and these longer fan fictions and then swapping out the names.
Man, I feel like
And
someone
it
was
was
just telling me about this, and now I can't remember either.
yeah, I can't really remember their name either. And it's like, yeah, it was bad. And it's just like, wow, that the whole maybe I'm just not a naive little creative girl, but like the whole point of writing a book is writing the book. Like, yeah, we do want people to read it, and we hope that they're like touched by it in a positive way. And it'd be nice to make some money off of it because I like eating and having a roof
Right.
over my head. But like the point of writing is to write. Like it's
Yeah.
one of my favorite parts of the day is to write. I should say the night because I'm a night owl. And like that's what I was doing right before. Like I had like half an hour to kill before
Hmm.
before we sat down for an interview, and I'm working on Demon's Nest. And granted, I was doing more research than actual writing because I got to figure out how are they going to build a new town from scratch in the middle of a winter planet.
Hmm.
So but that was still really it's still really fun to do that and to like watch the YouTube videos and read the articles and go like, okay, would this work on this specific alien planet, yes or no? How would this change? Could they substitute straw for an alien plant? Stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's like, and you're skipping all of that.
Yeah. And I mean, I just feel like, again, this is from a non author, but if you are in it to have like fame and fortune, I feel like you're going to be disappointed because that
I
happens for
know,
so
right?
few people. I mean, sure, it's definitely become a little more accessible with TikTok. People are reading a lot more like indie authors or smaller authors, and so I think
Mhm.
that, but like, I mean, this is not the career path if that's what you're after.
I barely make, and like I am able to I create full time, yes, but that's from Patreon and TikTok and YouTube. It's my online content that makes the bank and that
Mhm.
pays my bills. And that's not like I'm only able to do it because I live alone and I don't live alone. I'm single, I have no kids, and I share an apartment with two roommates.
Mhm.
That's how I'm able to do this full time. It's not because I'm pushing in, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of
Right. It's
dollars. Like,
just
no, and it's certainly not coming from my books. I haven't even gotten any. Citadel came out 2 years ago. I haven't gotten a single royalty check from it yet because I haven't yet made up my advance payment, which was 20 grand minus what the edit that my literary agents took their 15%. And that's over the course of 2 years. You can't live off of that.
no, no, not at all.
Scam artists need to do their research.
I know.
Um,
Pick a different scam. This one is not worth it.
I mean, like I think like the ones that are like do internet content. Because I was just seeing this video of this gal who it's awful in that she pretended to have an actual disability, specifically Tourette's, for not just the internet clout, but to turn them into customers for her yarn business. And it's like, and she all while saying, "Oh, I'm just raising awareness for Tourette's." Like, no, you're a compulsive liar. You are mentally unwell. You do need to see
Mhm.
a therapist about that, but not for Tourette's. And it's just
Right.
like, but she did certainly make a lot more money than any author has. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah,
Uh,
it's something.
it is. All right, so I have a couple of questions from my Patreon. If you would like to, my patrons over on Patreon get um, access. They get dibs. Basically, they know exactly who I'm going to be interviewing and when, and they get to ask questions that I then ask in the interview. So
Oh
if
my
you
gosh.
want to make my job so much easier and have me do less time prepping and researching for these videos, I'll become a patron on through the link down in the description below. But let's go to your book nerdiness specifically. What is one book that you think everyone should read at least once? Someone's asking for book rec.
So the book that I recommend everyone is 11/22/63 by Stephen King. It is just my favorite book of all time, and I just feel like everyone gets something out of it. I have bullied so many people into reading this book. Even people that are like, "Well, I don't like sci-fi." And I'm like, "Just read it. Just read it." People,
Here's my problem. I don't like Stephen King.
well,
And
then
like I know, right? And it's like one of those things where it's like my mother is one of the biggest Stephen King fans. I grew up with piles and piles of Stephen King books and graphic novels because she's also a comic book geek. And like I tried to get into his stuff and just I love it when his stuff gets turned into movies. Like I'm really looking forward to The Long Walk. That looks really, really good. And like and I can't like you got Mark Hamill as the villain,
mhm.
and you got it's just a super simple concept, but it looks so brutal and it just like it looks great. And I'm never gonna read the actual book because I just can't with his writing style.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I can see that. I hate people that like just write him off without having read anything. They're like, I don't like horror, and I'm like, okay, but he writes other things. But I can totally
Mhm.
understand like if you don't like, it's a very particular style he writes in for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Man, what other books?
It's
That's like
you
my
can't have AI.
go-to.
You can't accuse him of using AI like
Absolutely
for that.
not.
Um, but yeah, no, it's just I have tried and I just maybe it's been like 15 years since I last picked it up. So maybe I just needed to mature and have a more mature reading palette. maybe I can give it a shot these again now that I'm 30, but like
Yeah, I mean, depending on what you read before, I do think that like there is stuff that is a lot different than it was in like the 70s, 80s, the stuff he was publishing
yeah.
back then.
The book that I read, I've read three of his books all the way through, and the one that I genuinely enjoyed was On Writing. That
Was which
where it's
one?
like On Writing.
Oh,
The one where it's like the first half is autobiography, which
yeah,
was interesting. And then the second half is like actual writing tips, which ironically cannot work for me because Stephen King is a pantser. That is, he flies by the seat of his pants. He goes no outline, no prep, no world building, nothing. He is literally making it up as he goes along. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have planners who do all of the world building and all the world building, the outlining, the character creation. They prep as much as possible all before even writing the first page. And I'm very much on that end of the spectrum.
yeah,
So a lot of his advice I just can't do, and I especially need to use a lot more. So apparently, he only has like one round of. He doesn't even necessarily use sensitivity readers. I don't think. At least that wasn't the impression I got from On Writing. He's got like one or two rounds of beta readers, and those tend to be pretty close friends, and maybe that, and like his agent, and that's kind of about it. And I'm just like, good for you. I can't do that. I need like 80 other people to read my work before I even give it to my editor because I'm not autistic, but I have autistic characters. I'm aromantic asexual, but I'm not trans or non-binary, so I need
sure.
to screen that. I'm not diabetic. I'm not like all of these things that I'm writing about. Like I need to make sure like I need a bunch of people to tell me like what I'm doing wrong before it gets published.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't
that's
know. I feel like he probably just has a lot of free reign at this point to do
oh, definitely. Yeah.
to
I
do
mean,
whatever.
it's Stephen King, all right? You
Yeah,
kind of do what he wants, and
yeah.
you clean up the typos, and you maybe make a suggestion or two about if something's really not making sense or whatever. But yeah, I mean, and it's like one of those things where like once you get that good, and that probably he knows what he's doing. I'm not going to sit here and lecture Stephen King on how he should write his books or that his writing process is wrong or whatever. Like, no, we're not doing that. No, sir. But I am saying like writing, there is no one way to write. What there
Hmm.
is a collective grab bag of prick and tips and methods, and each author pulls out what works for them, and we're constantly experimenting and tweaking and changing as we grow as authors. So and I say this every time someone asks me for writing advice, what works for me may not work for you, or it may not be as effective, and what works for you may not work for me because we're just very different and we think differently and we create differently.
Hmm.
And that's one of the other reasons why generative AI is not real writing because everyone's doing the same thing. You're just plugging in the prompt in the screen and then
Yep,
cleaning it up afterwards. And some
yep,
people don't even do that.
yep.
Let's talk tropes. What is a trope that you absolutely love?
This is sort of like what I just said. I love time travel.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know why. I mean, it has to be, I'm not generally like a sci-fi reader, so it has to be either explained really well how this works, or like in the case of 11/22/63, it's really just like, yeah, no, we don't know why this is happening. Like, we don't know why this exists, but it does. And so like that's fine. That's totally I'm on board with. I love anytime there's a time travel mentioned in a synopsis, I'm like, done. Hit me with it.
Nice.
Um,
I never would have guessed that from you.
yeah, I
Yeah, no,
mean,
I don't necessarily read a lot of time travel, but I've seen films and movies that have it, and
mhm,
it's very much a double-edged sword. Like I was never into Doctor Who,
mhm,
and if you think about partly because if you think about it for more than 2 seconds, it all falls apart.
yeah.
But there is one movie that I really liked. It had Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing the same guy called Looper.
Hmm,
Um, And the whole idea is that time travel has not been invented yet, but 30 years from now, it will have been. It will be immediately outlawed. So, what all of the organized crime and mafia and gangsters do is whenever they need to put a hit out on someone, they won't kill them. They'll kidnap them, shove them in the time machine, send them back 30 years, have our looper, Joseph Gordon Levitt, kill him, and then get rid of a body that technically doesn't exist yet.
Wow. I'm gonna have to write
And
that one down.
it's good. It's got the it's kind of it's a futuristic, like near future dystopian setting, um, and it's the reason they call them loopers is that once your contract is up, your employers hunt you down and send you back, and because they're like their heads are covered in all that stuff, you don't know who it is that you're
Hmm.
killing really until like they strap the money to their back. And if it's just a regular day, it's like, a little bit of a payday. But if it's you get like your retirement fund. And it's like millions of dollars worth, basically. And it's like,
Wow.
okay, enjoy the next 30 years.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, and so that's Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing the same guy, and future
Yeah, yeah.
guy comes back, and it's just like, you're not killing me. We're gonna kill the guy who's like causing me problems, or will cause you problems in the future. And you start off kind of on his side, like you don't want him to die, and then like halfway through, I don't want to spoil it, halfway through, very dark villain turn, and it's just like, okay, Bruce, you gotta die. I'm not even sorry when I say that. Like you gotta go. Yeah, I know you make a name more of as a book lover, but that is, if you like time travel movies, I think you'll like that one.
Yeah, that sounds good. My husband's always trying to get me to watch more movies too. He loves movies, so good to know.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a good one. And apparently Sinners also has some weird time travel stuff on it too. I haven't seen that one yet. I know I need to. Um,
I haven't
Something
either,
about
but
magic
he
music.
replies though.
Um, on a related note, what is a trope that makes you want to slam the book shut and never pick it back up?
Oh gosh. Uh, this sounds, I don't know. I don't know why. My sister makes fun of me for this because sh anyways, I hate when anyone is like cheating, like romantically.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
my
Yeah,
sister,
same.
she's always like, "Why are you being like a Puritan about this?" And I'm just like, I
Puritan?
I know. It just like makes me lose all sympathy for, especially if it's like the protagonist. I'm just like, I don't like you anymore. I mean, I suppose there are certain cases if like there was abuse involved with like their partner, whatever, but like I still feel like I'm always just like, okay, I'm done with you. I also hate, and I don't read much in the way of like romance, and both of these happen to be romance tropes.
Mhm.
I hate when it's like an enemies to lovers, but there's like no reason why these people hate each other. It's just
Mm,
like they don't get along. I don't know. I'm just like, I need to feel the hatred. Otherwise, I'm just like,
yeah.
you didn't know each other well, and so you had some sort of like distaste for one another based on little to nothing, and then that's somehow hate. I just
Yeah, no, I'm not a romance reader all that much. I think a large reason is that I'm a romantic asexual, so I don't experience those attractions.
sure,
So there's no
sure.
automatic. Now, granted, a lot of arrows and aces go the opposite. They love the romance section. It's like their favorite candy almost. But for me, it's just like it's a severe disconnect. So like I got to be in a very specific mood to pick up a fluffy romance book. And like, yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, I don't like the cheating trope, even especially if it's like on the person they're supposed to end up with. Like, that makes no sense to me. I get that sometimes people are able to work through it. Um, but most of the time, like if it happens to me, if it happens to one of my friends, my first thing of advice is like, get out of that relationship.
Oh
They don't
yeah,
respect you. Like,
yeah,
why would I root for these people to be together? And if like, they're saying, "Oh, I met this guy, he's so great. His last relationship didn't end well because he cheated on her." And I was like, red flag,
yeah,
not engaged, get
yeah.
out. Like, so why would I approve of it in a book?
Hmm. Yep,
Like, unless
totally.
it's like, yeah, if it's something that like happens to one of the main protagonists and like, it's the evil other man, evil other woman, like this is why the last relationship went up and now I'm gonna start a relationship with the actual
Mhm.
end pairing person, that's one thing. And that can cause some pretty juicy drama of just like, oh, I gotta get over my trust issues. I gotta,
Yeah.
yeah, right. And that can make sense, but not a fan of seeing it. And I'm not a fan of enemies to lovers at all. I vastly prefer enemies to friends. Um,
Yeah.
Again, maybe it's just because like I prefer friendship tropes over romance tropes anyway.
No, I'm with
Um,
you because I feel I really don't read and much romance at all. I always like think it's gonna be something I like, and then I read it and I'm like, can something else happen? Like I don't like I guess I just am much better when a book is about something else and maybe there's like a little romantic subplot is fine. I
yeah,
just need something else going on.
yeah, no, say, and that's, gosh, I usually don't even like Citadel doesn't have a romantic subplot. Its sequel does. Um, Blackwing doesn't have any romantic subplot. That's a novella series that I wrote, but it does have an enemies to friends arc where
That's
the two
great.
main characters did not get along at all. Like one's a paladin who gets her power from the gods, and the gods hate necromancers. And the other character is, of course, a necromancer, and they're forced to work together to save the world, basically. So that's really fun to write. You get so much more banter with that when it's
Yeah, I like
friends.
that
And
better.
yeah. Um, and then let's see, your Heart of Iron does have something of a romantic subplot between Jennifer Charles and Nicole. Obviously, it's the CaFae Latte book. And Which You Trades with Death also has a romantic subplot because it's about um, rape and DV recovery. So that one is more like, showing here's how she's dealing with that. She's been through a lot. Let her get laid consensually, please. But there's
Love.
got to be a really damn good reason for
Yeah.
me to have that. And like, even so, like the romantic subplot, like it's almost not even necessarily an afterthought. I prefer it when it's like unconventional.
Mhm.
Like in the case of Heart of Iron, which comes out in October, the pre-order link is in the description of this video. JC and Nicole meet fairly early, obviously, and then they almost immediately hook up. Like that's there. I don't like why would I hesitate with that? There's no reason to do the will they won't they type thing. Oh, they will. Like they do
Mhm.
before the halfway point. We've got other fish to fry. Their boss is about to get kidnapped. Let's go. So, but like the tension of their relationship isn't are they going to be physically intimate? It's will they be emotionally intimate? Because
Mhm.
JC has a hard time, dealing with that. They're 2 months sober and out of prison, so they've got some issues with that. So that is more interesting to me because it's not the same, will they, won't they will, those smoldering eye contact, the near kiss, the final kiss, say they're together, and then they're broken
Mhm.
up by the sequel, which makes no
Yeah.
sense. Like that's what pisses me off so much. Like we could you gave meant made us so invested in this relationship in book one or movie one or whatever. And like, why are you not writing them together? Are you like authors are like almost allergic to writing characters in healthy, happy relationships where everyone is
For
okay
sure.
and no one's dead or dying, no one's cheating, there's no tension in the relationship. Like, no, everything's fine. Like,
Yeah.
we're still saving the world. We're still doing stuff together. Where there's just a little more PDA and maybe a pregnancy scare. Like,
Like real life. Wow.
mhm. One of them might be panicking about potentially trying to figure out how to propose, which is like the second most common one other than the breakup. And I don't mind that one as much because it's just the natural next step.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I will say, the Mummy franchise actually surprised me. One of the reasons why I actually like the second Mummy movie is because you actually see Evie and O'Connell together. Like they're happily married. Like I don't know if you saw the first one that they did in the 90s.
long time ago, like
Okay, yeah,
probably
no,
when it
well,
came out.
well, I mean, it's your, it's, I mean, obviously, it's a really great movie, and I love it. But like, it's, it has the classic romantic subplot between the leading man and the leading lady, and she's a bookworm, obviously, so we all love her. And he's, stunt Mr. America, super competent dude, and the sequel, which takes place like a decade later, is they're happily married, they have a kid, and more than that, it's much more subtle, but you can see how they have influenced each other's characters a lot. Like in the first movie, Evie was pretty helpless in a fight. In the second movie, even before she gets her like weird reincarnation memories, she kicks ass. Like
Mhm.
he has clearly taught her how to defend herself, and she's pretty capable of doing that. And at the same time, in the first movie, he was kind of dismissive of ancient Egyptian history,
Mhm.
archaeology, all that jazz. Whereas now he's, more in tune with it. He's still not as passionate about it as she is, but he's still just like, oh, this is the thing that you were telling me about that. Or it's like, okay, so what do we have to do to avoid her seeing this place? And it's like he's a little gentler and more subtle. So it's really cool and just felt so natural. And it took me ages to realize, like, why do I love this so much? And it's like, oh, it's because we actually get to see the characters together be together. And
Yeah.
yeah, the reincarnation thing was weird, but like everything else was totally fine. And it was a cool foil for the villain too.
Yeah, for sure. I
You
I
haven't
hear
seen,
about those. I saw the first one, I feel like when it, like, came out, and then I have never watched any of the others. There's, like, 4 or something, right?
there's,
3?
oh god, yeah, no, just no, there's just the one and the two. There's certainly not
Really?
a third
What
one
am
that
I
says
thinking
place in.
about?
No, there is. The third one
Oh,
takes place in China and it sucks
oh,
ass.
we pretend.
Um,
We don't pretend
yes,
she doesn't
it's
exist. Got it.
it's bad. And then, although again they're still together, their kid is an adult now.
Well, that's good.
But and they're still together, which is again, no, it was like the one good thing about that movie. And then they did a remake with Tom Cruise, which I have not seen, but I heard it bombed.
It sounds like
Um,
it would bomb just based on that sentence you just said.
yeah, yeah, no, it was supposed to like do a whole new spin-off franchise where they would revamp all of the classic Universal monsters, the Mummy, the Werewolf, Frankenstein,
Mhm.
Dracula, all like it was supposed to be like a whole thing. Because it flopped so bad, they scrapped the whole project.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah, no, it's, yeah. I mean, they got better special effects, but like even like I still say the ones from the special effects from the '90s holds up really well. Like guy's face coming out of the sand wall, sandstorm
I
thing. Like
remember
I
that
even,
part.
yep, I don't even necessarily mind, because it was The Rock's first film, I think.
Yeah.
The sequel was. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily mind CGI Scorpion King Rock. Like everyone's like, oh, it's so gross, and I'm just like, yes, they're doing the best they can, and he's still kind of scary. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we just enjoy the fight scene?
Right.
No, but that's just me. Another trope that I absolutely hate is the love triangle.
Yeah.
I just,
Especially
unless
if
I
everyone's
know,
cool. Like,
yes,
if
and
there's
it's like,
not,
or
like,
if
if
there's
there's
like a
not a
very obvious
specific.
pick,
Yeah.
like even if everyone's cool, or if even if there's like an obvious choice, and they're still dithering about it, and it's just like, what? Why can't we just either throw both of them away, or go into a end with polyamory? I
That's
don't
never what happens.
understand. I know, right? Like I feel like the polyamory option is slowly gaining more and more traction, which is good, but it's like I it annoys me. I say this as someone who, again, aromantic asexual, no interest at all in being in a romantic relationship at all. Just be open and all. Like you could like relationships are a thing, polyamory is a thing. Like if the two people who are into the same person can ditch that person and hook up with each other. Like there are so many other ways we can go about this, and it's just
Truly.
it's almost always added in just for more drama,
Yes.
which is lazy. And like
Yeah.
as a like it offends me personally and it defends me professionally. I'm like, you like the world is ending. You got like a superhero team or whatever, or there's like, you still got to learn like all the new types of magic to defeat the Dark Lord or whatever. There's like so much drama we can get just from that. We could focus on the side characters with
Yeah.
their issues, but instead you're shoehorning in this romantic bullshit that we all know is going to last.
Yeah. Yeah. That is definitely something that bothers me about a lot of like movies, books like that. I'm like, you need to focus, guys. There's bigger stuff happening. We don't need to be focused on this right now.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it really doesn't. No, I wasn't the love triangle, thank God, but I did recently. My parents finally got me hooked onto Fallout, and I can't wait for the second season. I know you're a book. I don't know why I'm pitching movies and shows to you, the book channel girl, but like,
well, I feel like I know my husband watches a lot of shows and movies, so I feel like I'm exposed to a lot of them. I just am not like
mm,
watching them. And my uncle is always suggesting shows for us to watch. And again, usually it's just him that watches it, but I'm there in the room.
there you go. Yeah, no. Well, if you do get the itch for a retro futuristic sci-fi show, Fallout is absolutely incredible. And like it starts with, one of the we got three major characters and one of them is a woman and it starts on her wedding day. And one thing that I really appreciate about her and her culture, because they're living in an underground world to escape from the nuclear wasteland up above, is that she is just very blunt about the fact that, like I am horny. I am like all my reproductives are in order. I can't bang anyone in my vault because we're all too closely related. So we have other vaults that we're connected to. Send me a stud, please. And that's how we're introduced to her. And she just gets cooler from there. Um, and then of course I won't spoil it for you, but it doesn't work out. It ends rather bloodily, even.
I
I
think
won't
I
tell you
watched a
what.
couple episodes of that because my husband loves the video games. And
Mm,
so I think I watched a couple, but like this happens to me all the time. I watch like
right,
two
yeah.
episodes of a show and then I just kind of fall off.
Exactly. So like yeah, so like the first one is her wedding and legally getting married to this guy, and then he's dead by the end of the episode. But like she meets the one of the other major characters like in the next episode or the one after that, so very shortly afterwards, basically. And it's like one of those instant attraction things,
Hmm.
and you can see like they both feel it, but they're just not in a situation like they meet in the middle of a fight with someone else, the third character. So they just don't have time to pursue it. So it's like a lot of it is like they very quickly, it's almost like insta love, which is another trope that I hate, but it's like obvious that like once they do start to hang out together and they are actually getting to know each other, and he's been telling lies to her and literally everyone else, so he has to like come clean at some point later on. And it's very much like the attraction is instant, and then we have actual building blocks into a relationship that we're starting to do, and the only reason we can't actually pursue it is because we live in a radioactive hellscape
Right.
that's literally tearing us apart because we got like 8 different people on our asses trying to go after the MacGuffin here that we
Hmm.
have. That is a type of romantic subplot. It's not even a love triangle, obviously, because she never had feelings for the first guy. But like, it's obviously they're trying to drag out the romance for
Hmm.
it because like whatever. But it's like I can that it's done well enough that I can get on board with that. Like
Yeah.
we have other things going on. They do genuinely want to be together, or at least try to be together. And their environment is not one where you have a life expectancy of more than 30 years anyway. So,
Makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
I could get on board with that.
All right. Well, we've been yapping for almost an hour. I guess my final question to you is any Any words of wisdom for those authors or book lovers who may be watching to avoid being on your channel, being featured on your channel, basically? Because
Um,
if you're on the Book Lover Laura channel, you don't want to be there. Something's gone wrong.
don't don't be a scammer, first of all. If you if you screw up, own it. That
Mm,
is something that I try to make really clear. And I actually just did a video for my my Patreon followers, subscribers, whatever they're called, about a woman
patrons.
who named her main character Katrina in a book called Eye of the Hurricane, and she suffered from a lot of backlash and really, really kind of misstep, really not a great call on her part, but she really did like take ownership immediately. And people are still ragging on her, but I am like, listen, this was a dumb thing to do, and she's doing everything she can to make it right. Like, that kind of thing. So all that to say, if you do something that is off color, embarrassing, whatever, first of all, lay low for a little bit.
Mhm.
Do your apologies and then stop talking. Don't make it worse. Because I feel like that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Just
No.
be a good person. I mean, that is life, but I don't know. I From a very young age, my dad and my mom taught me that like it's not about if you mess up, it's about how like you fix it. Redemption. Make sure you're like no one's
Mhm.
beyond redemption and make well, I maybe a couple, but
Yeah.
but that that is more important than being right, is just apologizing for hurting people you hurt, owning your mistakes. And I really do try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Even for people that end up like looking like scammers, I'm like, you know, some people, yes, some people I'm just like, I don't think this person set out to scam anyone. I think they got in over their head, and I think they just started to run away from the problem and they don't know what they're doing, and now all of a sudden they have people they owe money to, and it's just gotten
Mhm.
out of hand. And so I try to be like pretty open to thinking that's a possibility for people, but it just depends on how they handle it from there, and if they're just people are still avoiding stuff. So yeah, I mean, just be smart. Don't be a scammer. The best advice
And yeah,
ever, right?
that was my whole plans for next week with scamming people. And now you're
Well,
telling
hopefully
me
this
I
helped a little.
can't. Never let me do anything.
And if you're gonna do a whole thing, start small. That has been like the name of the game this like past couple months. It's like
Yeah, with the
between
Aubrey
the
Renters
oh
situation.
my gosh, between that, the Kickstarters, the events gone wrong. I'm just like, you don't need to do all of that right now.
Mhm.
Just write your book, or just put your event on in like the high school gymnasium. Like, you don't need to have a ball. You don't need to have these huge things. Just like, not everything needs to be over the top like that. And it's doing you a disservice in the long run.
Yeah, I'm kind of learning that now because I'm packaging all the Kickstarter orders. Because I ran my own Kickstarter. Watching your videos covering the Kickstarter scammers was like looking at a Black Mirror version of myself. Because for Heart of Iron, not this year, but February 2024, I raised over $100,000 for that. And I am now at the point where like I have to start shipping out people's pre-orders
Mhm.
basically. And like I definitely overdid it in certain ways. I know that next time I do something like this, we're not doing posters and we're certainly not doing customized yarn granny, crocheted stuff. That's going to be such a pain in the ass to do. Um, Not really looking forward to it. And it's 1,500 orders that I got to do,
Oh
and
my
now I'm just
gosh.
like, okay, yeah, next time just the books and maybe some stickers. That's all you guys are getting. And yeah, gotta adjust for shipping too.
But hey, you made these promises to people, and you're actually fulfilling them despite the fact that it is so much work and you don't want to. And that's the difference.
Yep, and they might get it a little bit late. It's taken some time, but you know what? They'll get it.
Yeah. And can't say for certain, but I'm willing to bet you communicate that with them, because
Oh,
that is
yeah,
the
no.
one of the biggest issues here, is that these people just run away from their problems and think that it won't come
Yeah.
back. Like, it's not going to go away.
No, it's not. Like, it's like so one of the things that they got was, free ebook versions
Mhm,
too. Like some people just wanted the digital version. So like there's the free ebook version and then there's the free audiobook version as well. Cause I got quite a few dyslexic or just people who
mhm,
prefer audiobooks, whatever. Um, but when the thing is, I sold the audio rights to the book to Blackstone Publishing, who did Citadel. And they were totally on board with this. The problem is they are locked in a contract with Audible, which is having its own scandal right now of
mhm,
being absolute monsters. Um, they're having their own. They have a contract with Audible where their books, their audiobooks, are exclusive to Audible and Amazon for like the first 2 months. And Audible is unwilling to give us over 550, you know, promo codes, copies, whatever, for the people who opted in for the free audiobook. So they basically we have to wait until December when the other audio platforms are allowed to use it. And one of them was like, "Oh yeah, no, here's your promo code. It's good for 555 uses, which should cover what you got. But it's not going to be good until December 6th or something like that." And I had to write up the update saying like, "Hey guys, we goofed up here a little bit. Sorry if you got to do that." And while a couple of people were pissed off, the vast majority of them are just like, "It's a Kickstarter. Of course it's going to be late."
good, good. I'm
Like,
glad that people react that way, because at the end of the day, like, you got other stuff to read and to listen to, and
yeah.
you're gonna
No,
be
and
okay.
frankly, with the whole Audible situation going on now, I have like actively gone on TikTok and I'm just like, guys, if you can boycott Audible, boycott. Use go the other option, Libby or what any Spotify, even any other platform that sells you audiobooks that you can use for that.
Mhm.
Do that.
Yeah, I've actually made a video about it a couple, like, last week, and yeah, I did see a woman on TikTok who was talking about how she is locked into something with Audible, like it was an exclusive and this
Mhm.
and that. And so, it was just like really driven home that if you have credits, use them for that stuff. People that you can't get their books anywhere else, and then
Yep.
everything else go elsewhere. I haven't used
Yeah.
Audible in several years. Once I discovered Libro FM, I just bounced out of Audible. And hopefully we'll see a lot of people doing that, because
Again.
there's other options.
There are, and I'm not an audiobook listener at all. I know I'm in the minority with that, but I just that and ironically podcasts. It's always in one ear and out the other. I can't I can create them, but I can't listen to them.
Interesting.
I need the physical book in my hands. And when it comes to that, I do try to purchase from like Barnes and Noble or indie bookstores even.
Mhm.
Um, that is ideal, and that's what I encourage. Like literally, I have some people asking me, "Hey, I want to buy your books. Where do like what store should I buy them from to make sure you get the most money?" Because they don't want to rip off
Mhm.
their authors, which I love. Like, thank you for thinking of that. Shop anywhere but Amazon at this point is what I've been saying. Like like I still have the links of Amazon in my website. So like you can get it there if you have no other options. I get
Right.
it. Bad sales are better than no sales at all. But like if you can, anywhere else.
Yeah.
Literally anywhere else. I don't care where. I don't even care if you get it from like a used book thrift store. And I won't see the royalties from that, but I'd still prefer you do that than go to
Mhm.
Amazon.
Yes, totally. Um, and it sucks for the people that publish through there. I don't think it's, I don't know. Do you know if people like that do Kindle Unlimited and publish their book through like KDP can't publish it anywhere else or sell it anywhere else?
We can,
I
and
should know that.
yeah, I have done this where you can publish it through Amazon KDP, but if if you publish it through Amazon KDP, you're given a choice. If you have it just exclusive to Amazon and Kindle, like you're not selling it anywhere else, you get like 70% of the royalties. which is pretty standard for self-publishing. That's one of the reasons why we
Hmm.
go with self-publishing, is because
Hmm.
we get the higher royalties than we get from trad publishing. But if you're not exclusive to Amazon, then you get only like 35% royalties,
Mm.
even though the vast like 80% of your book sales at least are going to be on Amazon. So you're screwed over.
That's a
If
tough choice there. Yeah.
It really is. And it's just like, obviously we want to spread our books out as far and wide as possible, because not everyone has access to Amazon. Some of us have problems with their issues. Some people just prefer to purchase elsewhere. So like, you want to make it as wide as possible, but we get punished so badly from Amazon because they are the vast majority of our book sales.
Hmm.
That's just a fact of life. So like, but if we go with the exclusive 70% option, we're getting more money per book sale, yes. But again, it, I mean, everyone's financial situation is different. But I will say that when because I self-publish Blackstone novellas, and I do that on Amazon, Barnes Noble, Kobo, all over the place. I'm also self-publishing Heart of Iron. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, those sales get me through like 1 month's worth of rent and maybe groceries. And then that's it. The spike drops.
Hmm.
And so, and that's me, but that's me operating off of 35% royalties from there. I don't know. It's a tough spot to be in, and
For
I just
sure.
feel so bad for like my fellow authors and the publishers who are also locked into this and have to deal with this. It benefits nobody. It barely benefits Amazon. So I don't understand why they're doing this, especially with the latest Audible BS, where it's like, I know we promised to pay you more, so we're going to give you a higher percentage of the Audible royalties, but from a smaller pie, and we're also going to make you steal from other authors.
Oh my
Basically,
gosh.
is how
Yeah.
that's going. If you want more information on that, Daniel Green has a few videos on that here on YouTube. Go check him out. Yeah, it's a complicated mess, and he breaks it down pretty well.
Oh my gosh. I had to watch it like 4 times though. The ones with all the math. I was like, I don't.
Yeah, and that's very much on
Okay.
purpose.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, companies love to do that where they make it super complicated, and they give you like, we're giving you a higher percentage of royalties for Audible, just like what you wanted. So tell Brandon Sanderson to stop boycotting us.
Right.
And we take that at face value because the rest is like calculus, and we're worms, not math nerds.
Right.
There's a reason why I went into writing and not NASA.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I always for self-published books, I always like try to encourage people to first like go to an author's website and see if they have books for sale there, or just
mhm,
straight up like if it's possible for them to reach out to the author and be like, where should I buy this? Um,
yeah.
because they're gonna be the ones that can tell you what's best for them.
Exactly. And I get it. Like I said, and generally speaking, small indie bookstores are usually your best bet all around. Um, Failing that, Barnes and Noble. They've been, despite all the book scandals and everything else that rocks the community every other week, BNet has remained remarkably consistent. Like, granted, next week, as soon as this video goes up, like, we're gonna be like, they actually eat puppies or whatever. It's like, it's gonna be bad. They are, of course, a conglomerate and therefore not to be trusted. But at the same time, compared to everything else out there, they've been remarkably drama-free, scandal-free, pretty
Yes.
chill. So if you got to choose, indie
Yeah.
bookstores are best. If you can buy directly from authors, that's best. Barnes Noble is your next best bet.
Yep. And I know
And
that a
on
lot
that
of
note,
people, that's what they got. That's what they got.
yeah,
So
yeah, no, it's like, as bad sales are better than no sales at all. Like, you do what you got to do. It's very hard to stay ethical completely in an environment like this. You just can't do it. We learned that from The Good Place, which is another show you need to watch. Laura,
I watched the first season. I'll finish
just
it
the first
eventually.
season, and then
I'll
you
finish it.
stopped after
Finish it
that plot
eventually.
twist.
I don't even remember what the plot twist was, but I know I watched the first
Jesus
season.
Christ. Okay. Mother
Oh, wait, no, I remember it, I
circles.
remember it, I remember it, I remember
Okay.
it.
All right. Good. All right. I'm gonna end this recording now so you can go and get on that. My God. Thank you all for listening in. Thank you, Laura, for showing up.
Thank you for having
This
me.
despite your lack of TV and movie knowledge, clearly, clearly that's what I brought you here for. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. All right. I will see you all next week.